You know, I had to write your name on this. Hey, so 20 years from now, when I'm senile and I pull this out, I'm like, what is this about?
Who's mine? Oh, I got him too.
Weivel.
I love it. I love it.
So you want to do which one first?
So that they can go to bed.
Good afternoon, colleagues. We're here for a brief voting session, two matters to attend. While we have, we're going to start with Delegate Hill's bill, which is House Bill 858. Go ahead and read it over.
House Bill 858 establishes a framework for producers of mattresses or a representative organization to develop and implement a mattress stewardship plan in the state. A plan must be submitted to MDE by July 1, 2027, and be implemented within 1 year of plan approval. The bill also establishes 1, a related advisory board, 2, a uniform mattress stewardship assessment for all mattresses sold in the state to cover program costs, 3, a prohibition on the sale of mattresses unless the producer is implementing, participating in an approved mattress stewardship program, and 4, a prohibition on the disposal of mattresses in a landfill or an incinerator starting January 1st, 2031. MDE must also adopt regulations. There are amendments that were emailed out to everyone today. Amendment number 1 is just technical. Amendment number 2 strikes references to the reuse of mattresses, strikes references relating to the profitability of a program, clarifies provisions relating to the mattress stewardship assessment, clarifies provisions relating to performance goals, and sunsets the advisory board established under the bill after 5 years.
Move the amendments.
On the amendments, is there any discussion? Hearing none. On the amendments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move the bills amended.
On the bill as amended, any discussion? Yeah, of course. I know. That's what you open it up. Might want to hit your button. There you go.
Thank you. I'm getting senile. I guess I just want to know what we're doing now to get rid of these. Does anybody have an answer?
And that's why we also, and I apologize, I wanted to introduce Delegate Stein, who is our majority leader, and Kristen, I'm sorry, it's been forever. But to help field any of the questions, because we are secondary on this, which is why we didn't hear a lot of information. So if you guys will have any questions, that's why I brought them in today. Dana, I think his question was how we're currently, besides throwing them on the side of the road, how are we getting rid of these mattresses?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start and then Kristen can add or correct to what I've said. Some counties already have mattress disposal programs. They are costly and not as efficient as what's being proposed here, but there are some counties that will accept mattresses, say in bulk trash pickup, or you can take them to the landfill, and and then the county will dispose of them.
Okay, I was asked, I was talked to by the sponsor. They said that there's a great opportunity for businesses in this for recycling. And my next question would be, if that's the case, wouldn't I want to haul these away and recycle them and make my money that way, as opposed to putting on all the taxpayers?
I think the response to that would be, under this program, there would be a lot more opportunities for consumers, businesses that have mattresses to take them to sites that are collecting them than is currently the case. There would be more places that would accept them, and in turn, more sites that would be contracted to do the actual recycling.
Again, I go back, if that's an opportunity, I would think as an opportunity, it was worth dollars and cents to me, I would be doing that today and making that judgment as a business person. Why do we want to put this on all the taxpayers when not all of us are throwing them away every day?
I'm sorry, just to interrupt. Dana, could you just explain where we are with this bill, what this bill actually does, before we, and Steve, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's so everybody can be caught up. What the bill actually does is drafted with the amendments,
Sure.
and how it impacts, the businesses and the, consumers.
Sure, I'd be happy to, Mr. Chair. There is a producer's responsibility organization that's set up. The number of states that have mattress recycling programs, there is such an organization established that conceivably could be the similar group in Maryland. They would work to set up a plan that's submitted to MDE for approval, which includes a mattress assessment, which in other words means a fee that when consumers purchase a mattress, they would have to pay. In other states, the range has been $15 to $22 per mattress. That would be, again, determined. And that would be paid at the point of sale by a customer to a retailer who then remits the funds for all the assessments paid by customers to this producer organization, which would then have enter into contracts with organizations to be collection sites and then also to recycle the mattresses. Where there already are local governments that are doing this, then conceivably they could be the ones who have contracts with the producer organization for the collection as well.
Okay. Is this enabling?
No, this would be establish the program statewide.
Thank you. I'm good.
Thank you. You mentioned about the bulk trash pickup. So is this prohibiting bulk trash pickup from your locales?
No.
And is this, okay, so this is not requiring an individual to take their mattress someplace?
Correct. It's not.
Thank you.
And just quick, so how do we envision this working for somebody like myself if I decide to buy a new mattress? Will somebody come pick up my old one, or am I responsible for delivery? How does that work?
My understanding is some retailers would take away your old mattress and, once at the same time that they deliver, but that's not a requirement under the bill.
And lastly, for myself, so they're not required?
Correct.
Okay, well, and lastly, I guess I would ask, when they say mattress, I know it's weird. Are we talking about just the mattress or the box spring? What is the mattress, the definition of a mattress when it comes to this?
It is both a mattress and a box spring.
Even if
There
it's
is
one of those adjustable, all that, no matter what, and just, some of them are mechanical, some of them are electric. All those would be included under this bill?
I'm not sure about that. There's exclusions, but,
I'm not trying to be pedantic, by the way. I'm just trying to understand.
There are some, Mr. Chair, there are some exclusions. For example, does not include an air mattress, a water bed, sleeping bag, pillow, futon, et cetera, car bed. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, you mentioned, you asked a question about a particular type of mattress as to whether it would be included or excluded. I forget which one you were asking.
No, it was just talking about the box springs itself.
The
When
box spring,
we're
yes.
defining mattress. And while there are box springs, a lot of people that make my vice chair's money have those adjustable beds that do a lot of stuff. And I didn't know if that was part of the actual process for recycling.
I think if it just meets the definition of a mattress, I'm not sure of all the products that it includes, but it would have to just. If it meets
Apparently,
the
it just says foundation, so it sounds like we haven't delineated. So I would say yes, right? That's the let me a better way. I'm asking this for a reason. That's the intent of the bill, to include the foundation as well as the mattress, regardless of the type of foundation.
That's correct.
That's what I just wanted to, for the record, make sure I understood.
I was in before the foundation.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a question. Has it moved out of the Senate? Is there a Senate crossfile? I wasn't able to see that, so it just,
There's no Santa Cross file.
okay. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions. On the bill as amended, is there a motion?
Move the bill as amended.
No further discussion? Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Delegate Harrison.
Aye.
Delegate Boafo is excused. Delegate Howard is excused. Delegate Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Pruski. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Chi. Delegate Frazier Hidalgo. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aaron's. I got it. Delegate Pippi. Delegate Pippi. Smart, of course. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampry is excused. Oops. Delegate Wyvel. No. Delegate Fisher. No. Delegate Queen is excused. And the chair votes yes. Sure.
Couldn't resist the tax.
Resist the tax, baby. It's not a tax, it's a tariff. Other mattress companies are gonna pay for it, not ours. It passed, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I don't know how, I don't know if the rule is it majority of members present or majority of members?
13.
That's what I thought.
Oh, shit, I would've.
Wait a minute, no, because we're missing 2 members. I don't have to get 13.
Oh, really? I thought.
Because we're missing, no, we're not, but I'm talking about we have 2 slots that weren't filled. So it's only 12 now. Yeah, so there's only 22 members.
Yep.
Yeah, so we only have to do 12. Yeah. Usually be 13, but that's with a full house. That's, we are missing 2 Democrats, so. Okay, next bill, House Bill 0102.
House Bill 102 requires the Secretary of Labor to adopt regulations by July 1, 2027 that establish an optional self-employed enrollment program for the family program, which must include contribution amounts, benefit amounts, and enrollment procedures. It repeals existing provisions and related requirements for self-employed individuals. There's an amendment that defines anchor date for certain wage and benefit calculations. It pushes the date employers and employees must contribute the fund back by 18 months and makes other conforming changes. It alters the date covered individuals may submit a claim for benefits. It authorizes the Secretary to announce rather than notify each employer of changes to the weekly benefit amount, and it prohibits MDOL from requiring certain employers to purchase insurance to escrow before the issuance of family benefits.
No, so on the amendments? Is there discussion on the amendments? Hearing none, all fair say aye. Aye. Any opposed or other amendments? I know the other amendments. Other amendments? Please. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure, I have a real concern about how our benefits in general don't keep up with inflation. So just context-wise, we have unemployment that we've talked about that was set at 430 in 2010, and now a bunch of people about to be unemployed, and we haven't set that to keep up with inflation. When we originally passed this Family Leave Act, we set the benefit level at 1,000. It was supposed to, and we set it to keep up with inflation. Having delayed it as many times as we have, that $1,000 by the time this bill actually comes into fruition and this reality comes into fruition that people can tap into this benefit, is going to have lost significant purchasing power both in general because of it's been a few years, and then specifically because it's been a number of years with a considerable amount of inflation. And so the amendment that I wanted to propose is to set it actually as a percentage of the average weekly wage, which when we set it that way, we're ensure that whatever point in time and after however many delays we have, that it is going to meet the needs. The goal of any of our programs, whether they're unemployment insurance or parental leave or family leave, is that people can survive on the benefits that we're providing to them. So that's my concern. I have a lot of concerns, although I am going to vote for this bill. I have a lot of concerns about the delays. I understand the reasons for the delays, but my biggest concern is that when we finally implement the program, it's going to be considerably the purchasing power of the benefit is going to be considerably eroded. So I understand I may not have the votes for this amendment, so I want to put it out there, offer a chance for folks to consider it, and maybe just float it as something that we address next year, since we continue to delay this, so maybe we have time to fix the benefits in future years. But I just want to make sure everyone understands that as we delay this, it's not only a delay in when people can access this really important benefit, but it's also continues to erode the value of the benefit once people actually are able to access it.
And I will say, obviously, I've read your amendment, I understand. I do believe if the bill passes as amended, we will have another time to discuss this bill or this amendment to find out again, the relevance and where we actually are, where the financially for the payouts. So,
You mean like next year, Mr. Chair? Is that
we'll
what you mean?
We'll be here next year, yes. And
I
this
hope
bill,
so.
this still won't have kicked in. So I'm not saying that the amendment's premature. I guess my question is, and we're going to continue to discuss, did you want to vote on this amendment today?
I'm okay if we sort of commit that we're going to address the issue next year, and I can talk to MDL and others about how we can do that next year. I just want to, I think more than anything else, I want to make sure we understand the implication of what we're doing is twofold, delaying plus eroding the benefit level. So I'm okay to withdraw the amendment. I just want to be on record and make sure folks understand the implication of this vote.
Right. And
So when we come back next year, we have that context.
as far as the delay, I mean, it's one of those things, obviously, there's the concern is, twofold. It's making sure we have the ability to properly get this program into play, but it's also making sure that in what I would consider very tumultuous times, financially tumultuous times, as much as this is needed, it's also taking money out of the pockets of both the people, employers and the employees. And I think there are some grave concerns when the margins may be tightening and people may be struggling a little more to, with inflation going up and the cost of goods and potential tariffs, that somehow things get more expensive than every dollar counts. And when we can, and I'm sure I'm going to hear from the right in a minute, but when we can, slow down the bleeding, we should try. I guess we do have a few questions. Who's first? Delegate Pippy.
Okay, so as amended, this would delay, I guess, the implementation. Can you just walk it back for a minute to what, 2027? Is that what we're doing here?
Maybe the department can go over it.
Yeah, is it a, oh yeah, there you are.
Maybe the department can do it. Yeah. Go over what the changes are.
Yeah.
Sure. So the timeline delay is that contributions would be pushed back 18 months. That's the beginning of the payroll withholding from July of this year to January 1st of 2027. And then benefits would be pushed back from July 1st of 2026 to January of 2028.
This is the $2 billion we're trying to get into the fund to operate the program.
Correct. It allows for a year of seeding, so individuals participating in the state plan would be contributing into the state plan for a year before it's up and running so that it's solvent and seeded and is self-contained, not reliant on general funds.
Is there anything else in this bill as amended other than the delay of pushing the program back? Can you go over that too?
Yeah, so it pushes a number of dates back throughout the bill. There are requirements for reports, the announcement of the contribution rate, setting the maximum benefit. And because it was an 18-month shift and not a straight 12-month shift, all of those dates had to change as well for those annual reports. So those amendments are in there as well. There was a section that required the department to notify employers when the maximum benefit increases. So on that annual basis, once benefits start, if it goes up with inflation. And we changed the word announce to the word notify to make sure it gets out there, but there isn't that one-on-one requirement. And then we also set an anchor date in the bill so that what we found in both the regulations and the statute was your benefit and your eligibility were keyed to different dates, or it was unclear in the statute. So now we say the earlier of when you apply or when your leave starts is the date all of those decisions are held against, whether you're eligible, what your benefit amount is, what the maximum benefit at the time is. It's all keyed to one date to make it more administratively feasible, both for the state, but also for employers that are administering the program.
And this is the last thing, and I think you said it, but there's no other changes other than this just pushes everything back that time frame. There's no percentage changes or anything like that. It's just pushing it back, and then all the different language related to pushing it back is the only thing this does.
Correct. We did not make programmatic changes in the bill.
Okay, thank you.
I think, first of all, I didn't vote for this bill in the past, and I think when we did something, we brought up a lot of cautions on this bill. And at the time, we asked, what's the difference between what you all are going to develop and, say, AFLAC? We asked for some competitive analysis on this so we could look at it. We're a couple of years into it. We're going a couple more years out. We got a whole lot of money invested in something that we asked you about if you could handle, and you said you could handle it. It'd be no problem. And here we are pushing it out to 2028. And people are now asking for it because we committed to something we once again couldn't deliver. So can you help me out with what makes this better than another plan? And I do know MACO has a few amendments in here that they would like to look at. So obviously somebody else has a plan that works and can work today. And I guess I'm questioning why are we still doing this and not going to somewhere else that actually can get the job done?
So I think part of it is there's a number of different pieces to the plan. There's the tax collection function, collecting the contributions, and then there's the benefit administration, and then there's the enforcement of the job protection. It's a system that has a number of different pieces to it. In the one state that has outsourced it to a private company to make those decisions, they are only doing the benefit determination, not the other pieces. And
So the people are benefiting today from that system. Is that what you're saying?
They passed their bill before we did.
Okay, so they're actually doing something and people are able to use this in that world, okay?
It is up and running as it is in 11 other states. Only one other state has outsourced it. And I think the policy decision was made that benefit decisions shouldn't be profit-driven, but should be driven by the state who's looking at the application itself and the good of the people. And that was a policy decision that was made.
So now you're asking us to delay it 2 more years, and we're running into all these other problems. And is there actually something out there that can tell me exactly what you're going to do in the Department of Labor that these other places are not doing? We've asked for that before, and we've never gotten it. Is there something I could sit back and say, you know what, this is what we're waiting for. I can get it here, or I can get it here. There's other components to this that we do for a lot of other programs, but this is why the people that are asking for this are suffering today. That's what I'm looking for.
So there was a DLS report that was put together. They hired a consultant to look at the different options and laid out what that could look like for the state of Maryland. So that report is there. And then we have an annual report that's due to you, and we are always welcome to walk you through how we're setting this up and what we're doing.
Is there any projection on what the amount of money we're investing these last couple of years and what the final investment will be? How much will that be before this program starts? As the state has spent that they're not going to get back?
So I would have to get the exact number to you, but the commitment is, in our agreement with DBM, is that any general funds that we have received, we will pay back over time once collections start.
Okay. Okay, so the Mako was asking if it's government entity, when do they have to contribute if they have their own plan? Do they still have to contribute to this?
So, and I am sorry, Delegate Pippi, I did not mention the Mako
Delegate Aaron.
amendment, which, no, I know, when Delegate Pippi asked me, I did not mention the Mako amendment. We did try to address Mako's concerns
That's okay.
in our amendments,
teasing.
and I did not mention that. So, as there was a concern, we are going to have a year where no one pays if they are in a private plan, that they do not have to pay into the fund, they do not, there's that year period. And so what Colorado did was they made everyone pay and then reimburse them. We knew we didn't want to do that. It was an administrative nightmare for employers to try to return the funding. And so what our draft regulations set up is that employers would have to keep an escrow that year's worth of contributions. So if they don't go into a private plan, the funding is there. Mako has asked that that requirement not apply to them if that requirement does end up in the final regulations. And we have put in an amendment that would say that the public entities would not have to escrow that funding for a year. The money was never going to the fund. It was there in case the private plan didn't work out.
Okay. I hate to be a dead horse, but my concerns come, I'm still getting calls on unemployment where they're not getting fixed. They're not getting handled. And here we are doing something else and we're falling behind on it again. So my confidence level is very low. But I appreciate you coming in and answering the question.
No, I can appreciate that. And I think that's why we asked for the extension, so that we don't have a system that doesn't work.
At some point, we have to do that. So, thank you. Sorry.
Delegate Weigel?
Yeah, is the delay Trump's fault?
The delay is caused in large part due to the uncertainty right now. We've lost some of our contractors because we are contracting with the federal government to help us, and 18F was dissolved at 3 in the morning on a Saturday. And so we're catching up. So just the general uncertainty, I think, is
Want to clarify
causing the
that, thank you.
problems.
So, in short, yes. Okay, good. Don't worry. More where that came from. Delegate Fisher?
It says here on or before July 1 of 2027, the Secretary shall adopt regulations to establish the contribution amounts, among other things. So we still don't know what those are.
So we have entered into a contract with an actuarial firm. We have done actuarial reports in the past, but we want to make sure with the changing economy right now and the change in the workforce right now that we have the most up-to-date information. And so we need a more recent actuarial study before we can set that rate. We are capped in the statute, but we don't want to set a rate too early that doesn't reflect what's going on in the workforce.
I appreciate that. And I know that you guys are, civil servants, so I appreciate that. You didn't make the policy. But the Secretary is an appointee. Has the governor asked the Secretary to delay this program until after the election?
I'm not aware of that conversation at all.
Thank you.
Delegate Rose?
Mr. Chair, and thank you for being here today. I remember when this bill came on the floor, and I equated it to, we are passing this bill while we're building the plane running down the runway, and this has come to be true. It's still a mess. What I don't recall is, what is the penalty to employers? What is the penalty part of this bill as it stands, or that you're planning to bring back by 2027?
In terms of for non-compliance with the program?
Yes.
We have not written those regulations yet. There are some penalties in statute. I would have to get back to you on that. I don't have it in front of me.
So we're still pushing through, we're delaying it, but we're still pushing a bill that we don't have We don't know how much it costs. We don't know what the penalties are. Our economy is a dumpster fire, and businesses are under attack, and we don't even know what budget we're going to pass, but we're still going to keep going forward with this. So that's not a question. It's just a statement for the record. Sorry. Thank you.
One question. Remind me, when do we start taking money from employers and employees on this?
January 1, 2027 is when withholding begins. Employers would remit the collections in their portion of the payment to the state in April of 2027.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate your outreach, and I appreciate the phone call and the discussion on this. As the bill sponsor, whose 2023 bill passed, and then 2024, we made some amendments. Of course, I care a lot about this program being set up in a timely fashion. But if I understand correctly, the reason that you are here primarily is because, one, the overall economic uncertainty and its potential impact not only on your administrative ability to set it up, but also on the impact on businesses with this much uncertainty overall. Some of them are going under and worrying about making the payroll in general, let alone the contributions, right? So I wonder if how much of that consideration has to do also with the state's fiscal situation in your overall consideration. Thank you. Because we have to not only contribute, but also we also have committed to taking care of another two buckets. One is the nonprofits that depend on government funding, and the other is the small businesses with 14 or under employees, correct?
Nonprofits we don't have to take care of, but the 14, there is a small business exemption in there that is considered into the rate and raises the rate for the rest of the pool to cover, which we take into consideration. But I think it's just the general uncertainty, both administratively, but also with the economy, that has brought us to this decision to ask for the extension so that when we launch, it is a program that is tested and ready to go on launch.
Follow-up question. I'm just super curious, and I forgot to ask the question on the phone during our discussion. Why 18 months instead of 12 months or 24 months?
I think we looked at a lot of different timeframes. The big thing was we didn't want to come back again and ask for an exception. Last year, we asked for 1 year. We wanted to make sure we were giving ourselves enough leeway and runway to truly deliver on this program without having to change those dates again. And so instead of going with a more aggressive, we can do this stance, we wanted to be responsible so that there would be more certainty that launch would happen on these dates.
Okay, thank you.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah, I know. So Delegate Charkoudian talked a little bit about commitments as it relates to inflation and benefits. My question to you is, when will we get the actuarial analysis? Like, will we get it in time, like next year when we're revisiting this? And will we be able to have a sober look at what's actually going on and from an insurance perspective?
Yeah, so the two older reports are available both in the DLS library and on the University of Baltimore JFI Institute's website. We do believe we will have our next report by the fall, and we'll be able to share that.
By the fall. So in other words, the data, since I haven't seen it, maybe I should get it after.
Sure, we'd be happy to get it to your office.
Is it easily consumable? Is the data easy for us to understand? Well, me to understand as a policymaker? Like, can we tell there's trouble by looking at these charts? Is there any a conclusion or any analysis that comes with the scientific actuarial study?
Yeah, so there's a couple different parts to the reports. The main thrust of the big ones was to help us figure out what the contribution rate should be. So it lays out the different criteria and the different recommended ranges. I'm going to be honest, there's parts of the reports that are easier to read than others. I'm sure. And so we're happy to show it to you, walk you through it, talk you through it. And then there were also some other reports that looked at private plan incidents and how that could affect what we should be examining. And so those are a lot of the questions we're asking.
Right. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to speak briefly because now that I remember this, well, let me, so I remember now one of our concerns back when the bill passed originally, and that was, it was either Washington State or Oregon, one of the two states set up the program, and then they immediately needed to go to the state's general fund to the tune of a few $100 million to make the program solvent. So I know that there was much concern and consternation over the actuarial analysis, and on one side, I appreciate the fact that it seems like our state is trying not to repeat the errors of other plans that have gone through this. I hope, though, and I'll close right now and just say that I hope that when we come back next year that we have enough information that can be consumed by the average. I mean, I'm just an elected official that tries to make good decisions or votes, but the point is I think we owe ourselves and we owe our citizens the right to make quality decisions while we're here, and I believe that having a good actuarial analysis and then understanding what it actually says so we can make some policy decisions next year is more important to me than just automatically assuming that we need to tag inflation onto future benefits, because frankly, that only sees one side of the equation. So that's fine.
That's fair.
Delegate Harrison.
Thank you. I just want to follow up on Delegate Chi's question. And it seems to me that, one, there's a lot of uncertainty still. And there are some very valid concerns. I mean, we don't know. The economy is a little unstable right now. And I don't understand why you would want the 18 months as opposed to a straight 24 months to allow for some stability, and we know really what is going on with the economy. Why would you not consider just a straight 24 months, considering that we've had to delay because of these uncertainties? At least it gives us some time for stability to set in prayerfully.
Well, Delia, I'll read on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, a lot of work has been done to date on this program, so we didn't want to push it out 2 years because, or longer just to say it's going to provide certainty, because there's a cost to that as well. The cost being that we had originally envisioned the build out of the program to time with contributions coming online, so it would be a self-sustaining program. By pushing the timeline further and further, we then incur general fund costs to cover program expenses until contributions come online. So really we're trying to strike a balance between giving the program enough time to adjust to, a lot of this is procurement related and other things, adjust to those shocks to the system without incurring a large general fund cost that was not originally anticipated when we started the program.
And so what has been expended to date? Do we know? I don't see anything that at first glance in the fiscal note.
I don't have the dollar figures in front of you, in front of me. We have a team, we're between 50 and 100 people right now. We have
that are working on this?
That are working on this. We have 3 digital contractors who are building the system with us, who are working with us. And a lot of the, I like to use the example of building a house. We've done a lot of the architectural and foundation work for the program, and now it's about building the structure around it. But we can get you exact dollar amounts. I apologize, I just don't have those at my fingertips.
That's fine. That's fine, thank you.
A lot of the initial costs, I'll say, that were funded through ARPA dollars because the program passed around the time that money was available to the state. So it'll be a combination of general funds and ARPA dollars from the federal government.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the only thing this bill does right now is extend the deadlines, because when it was presented before, it also made some changes to the self-employed. So is that gone now?
No, the bill itself still stands, and that was delaying the self-employed program. What we found in other states was the opt-in rate was really low because they were trying to fit a square peg into a round hole by treating self-employed individuals as if they had weekly wages and using that model to try to serve self-employed individuals. And so the bill pushes back the self-employed opt into the program to give us more time to do focus groups and work groups with self-employed individuals to figure out how best to serve them. We've already done two, and we want to continue
It didn't
that.
make any other changes to self-employed, it was just delaying.
Correct.
Okay. And I know when Secretary Wood was here and Delegate there asked the same question or similar, she said you all had spent 40 million to date, I think, in the implementation. Are you not keeping like a running total on that number?
Oh, we definitely are. I am the director of policy, and so I'm afraid if I give you, I'm not following the budget the way my colleagues are, and I just don't want to give you the wrong number, but we're happy to provide that.
Okay, thank you.
And there were some changes in this year's budget based on the implementation shifts, so some reductions on our projected budget total, so we can get you an updated number based on those.
All right, thank you.
On the bill as amended, is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Delegate Harrison.
Aye.
Delegate Boafo is excused. Delegate Howard is excused. Delegate Charkoudian.
Yes.
Delegate Rose.
No.
Delegate Pruski.
Aye.
Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Delegate Valderrama.
Yes.
Delegate Chi. Delegate Frazier Odago. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aaron's. Delegate Pippi. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ambrey is excused. Delegate Weibel.
No.
Delegate Fisher.
No.
Delegate Queen is excused. And the chair votes yes. Bill passes. I believe that concludes our hearings and voting today. Are we on the floor on Mondays, anybody know? It's 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything before then. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Kress, did you need something?
I was on.
Put them off.
What'd you say?
I thought we adopted.
We didn't adopt all the MACO amendments. There are two different, the MACO and May, not May. All right.